Hello there gang, Devere here. And another past blast playing a classic game of yesteryear. And in a bit of a departure from normal programming, today's a bit of a double bill. And for the first time on my channel, I'm actually looking at some official expansion packs. And these are of course the expansion packs for Half-Life, which was released in 1998 by Valve Software. This is Half-Life Opposing Force and Half-Life Blue Shift. Now both these expansions were of course actually developed by Gearbox Software, and Opposing Force was released in 1999 and Blue Shift in 2001. So let's have a quick glance through our options here. The interface is the same for both games, so I shall only check through them here. So of course, as you'd expect, your fully rewindable keys, your mouse settings, and don't forget to check off your auto aim and turn on raw mouse input. So when you first play it, the game defaults them the other way around, and you'll have a lot better experience if you like your FPS games with it this way. So I have a couple of audio channel options. Your video settings are very limited by today's standards, and of course voice volume. These are of course for multiplayer, because of course multiplayer is still active of sorts. I mean, as you can see here, of course these expansions were never massive sellers in the day, and they didn't have quite the impact of Half-Life, so you know, there are people playing, but just not lots of them, so keep that in mind if multiplayer is important to you. But if you've got some Steam friends or something you want to hook up with, nice and easy to jump onto a server that way. And of course extra content is always good, we like that on this channel. So what I should do is I should dive on in with a new game. I should just play on easy for brevity of the video, and of course there's a training room experience that is specific to each character, quite worth if you're a fan of Full Metal Jacket, and let's be honest, who isn't, then well worth a quick play through the one for Opposing Force. So with that done, I'll dive into the game now, and I will of course skip the long intro and see you guys in there.
3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3.
Don't do that kissing thing though, will you? So of course we play the role of Corporal Adrian Shepherd, and we were part of the government force, the military, that's been sent into Black Mesa after the original incidents that was depicted in the original Half-Life. Well, thank you, sir. But yes, we are part of that force that's a sort of black flag government cover-up. We're here to kill everyone and everything, no matter who they're from, them or them. Well, technically now we're sort of one of the good guys. Although that alien there's making my job a lot easier here. Well done, that chap. Oh, boot goes in. Full military training there. He remembers that much of it before he became one of these things. Of course, we don't really know what they are yet because we've only just woken up. So yeah, we've been dropped here, and of course everything's gone south.
Oh, that was way too close for comfort. Oh yeah, sure, we'll work better as a team. Okay, Shepard, I see you found your power vest. That should keep you safe out there. See, now I've heard rumors that you troops may not actually be here to rescue us. Just don't forget about us out there. Alrighty? Okay, I'll let you through now.
Give me that gun and you'll find out how I made Corporal. It wasn't by disobeying orders, let's just put it that way.
Good luck, sir.
Don't need it, got training on my side. Whoops, need to walk straight into an electric charge. So content wise, compared to the original Half-Life, well, obviously visually looks the same. This is still the gold source engine. I don't believe there's a source version available, though you can probably get mods and things for this to make it look a bit prettier, if that's important. This is still Black Mesa and very much more of the same in that respect, but story wise is a little bit different. And of course a lot of the aliens that you will initially see are also something you've been familiar with if you've played the first game. Well, you probably have to have. I just heard a head crab. There you are. Is there another one? There he is. Of course, the movement itself is still as floaty as it always has been in these games. And just a reminder that this is Half-Life, of course, as a G-Man. But yes, the Gearbox wanted to, when they were given the rights to make the expansions, wanted to expand on the Half-Life universe to make it a bit more expansive. An expansive expansion, if you like. And yeah, sure, because of course they had their hands full working on other things that we know would become the somewhat epic Half-Life 2. So there is now a new alien race in this one. It's not just the Zen aliens, which are the ones we're seeing here. I was rather hoping he was going to jump over the edge there. There's now a new aliens, Race X, and your story, Adrian Shepard's story, relates more to that side of it than to the Half-Life side of the storyline. And of course, that's kind of been sort of forgotten right then. There's still space for discussion on forums and such like as to how canon is exactly Shepard's story in the Half-Life universe. But the Race X stuff does of course mean you've got more inventive aliens to fight, as well as
Hello, soldier, sir.
hello meat sack. Can see what? Yeah, probably not a good idea to do that. Yeah, so you've got that, and also the weapons are a bit more expensive. There's new weapons. Of course, we have as a soldier, we have a night vision instead of the torch. Now, a couple of glitches. This game is a little bit buggy in places. This is one to be careful of. Don't get too close to that thing, or it'll you'll find yourself stuck to it. You'll have to reload. Luckily, the checkpoints in this game are very generous, like they always have been in Half-Life. But yes, weapons. So some things have been changed out. Of course, we no longer have the HEV suit. We have the PCV, the Powered Combat Vest, which is functionally the same thing. Here's our first new weapon, the Deagle. Be sure to right click to turn your laser sight on, or you won't hit much with it. How did that... What did I'm just wondering what hit me there. Anyone got some ammunition for me? No, fair enough. So yes, we have the Powered Combat Vest in place of the HEV suit. Of course, the Deagle does at least one-tap most low-level enemies without too much problems. There's also a bit more. There's been a bit more expansion in other ways of the game. So some good, some not so good. Unfortunately. So one of the good bits. I don't need good luck, I just need good training. So the first is you now occasionally have some squad mates with you, some fellow soldiers. You have assault soldiers, engineers, and medics. Engineers, as you can guess, you need for cutting through barricades. Medics, probably don't need to explain what a medic does. And then your combat soldiers, and they are generally pretty useless. Yeah, the AI does show its age in many ways, unfortunately. That is true. It can be a bit dumb. It'll get itself shot down a lot, as well as a lot of times shooting you. It's definitely an AI of the era. So they're there. So that makes the medic the most useful, and of course, it also the engineer is just basically a key that you just have to press F on. And I heard somebody else. Unfortunately, the not so good, apart from this is still the worst shotgun in any game from this era, is the new invention of rope swinging. It's their big new physics prop. There's still lots of pushing of boxes and that kind of thing going on to get you through areas. A lot of quick death areas, puzzles. I believe this might be one of them here. But yeah, the rope swinging is incredibly frustrating. as this came after Thief. Thief had rope swinging, which was really good, but not so in this game. Luckily, I think they realised how bad it was, and you don't have much of it to do. So all in all, this is a pretty decent expansion with the new weapons, the new aliens, about 12 hours worth of campaign playthrough. So it adds a fair decent amount to it. Although it could have done with a bit more of a bit more tightening of the movement. It's still very floaty. Outside of that, visuals are about the same. Maybe a bit more atmospheric lighting in places compared to the original. And of course the AI additions, which weren't the greatest, but they're there. So what I think we'll do is we'll now switch over and have a look at Blue Shift. But for the money, this is definitely a fairly expansive expansion. So let's go to Blue Shift, the 2001 release. Okay, so here we are, Half-Life Blue Shift. So we get a nice new splash screen. As I said, options are pretty much the same. And the one first thing you'll notice is missing is the multiplayer. So this is a single player expansion only. So a lack of content, which is something we don't like on this channel, as I'm sure we all agree. So again, we'll dive on in with a new game. There is a training room, but by this point, if you've played Half-Life and Opposing Force, it's really not even worth the scan through, other than for completion's sakes. So again, I'll pick easy, and we'll dive on in and get started. This is just after the somewhat lengthy train journey, very similar to the start of the original Half-Life. And of course we play Barney Calhoun, a security guard, working Blue Shift, the security team.
Hold on a minute. The door's not responding to your pass ID. Let me see if I can get it open on this side.
At least this is nice the way they tie this into the original game. I'm sure if you remember the intro, you'll remember what this is a reference to and who that is in this particular tram car.
Okay, I think I got it. Sorry about that, Calhoun. We've been having problems all over the facility this morning. System crashes, security malfunctions. It's a wonder this whole place hasn't shut down yet.
Yeah, if you're going to cry, take it to your blog. I'm just getting paid for the day, that's all. So we want to go get ourselves geared up for our shift. So first things first, let's pop to the personal facilities, and we'll drop down by the armoury. Where's our locker? Here we are. So of course this is the HEV suit is obviously not in this game, or is the PVC, PCV, the powered combat vest of Opposing Force. We just have a basic body armor and helmet set up. So you have to, when your armor gets damaged, you find them laying around to recharge your armor that way. Armoury, excellent. And this is of course the Black Mesa facility. And just before the events that take place in Half-Life.
How's it going?
Good, yourself?
Here you go, Calhoun.
You certainly picked the right job for the day, didn't you?
I know you're not on the schedule for a couple more days, but if you want to squeeze in a few shots in
Let's
the
just
ring...
zip in here, as there's some spare ammunition kicking around. It's your touch of humour like that. As far as it goes content-wise, this is actually quite a big backstep after the Opposing Force. And the Opposing Force was about 11 or 12 hours worth of new campaign, and the multiplayer. Multiplayer, of course, is gone, and the campaign itself is about, you can probably do it in about 6 hours, in all honesty, especially if you are playing on easy. There's many of the other things that were a part of the Opposing Force that are gone. There's no more sort of real getting your squad together of soldiers, no more mention of Race X and Planet X and all that, they're all gone. This is purely fighting the original aliens from Half-Life.
Have a good one, Calhoun.
Always do, chum. Look on the bright side of life. I'm part of the happy generation. On the upside, they did remove out the rope swinging thing, thank God. That was pretty terrible. I think even Gearbox realised how bad it was. See, that doesn't make a return. Outside of that, engine is still the same. It's still gold source. Controls are still floaty. Especially ladders here. Expect a quick save before every time you touch anything with ladders and jumping combined, because it'll save us up a lot of frustrations. Oh, this is the one big addition, is you can now drag things of sorts. There we go. Yes, it's yeah, pretty manky. Good old Valve physics at their finest, or in this case, Gearbox's physics. Outside of that, in many ways, this is pretty much very much a generic FPS of its time. I mean, the whole series was, of course, but if you like that kind of thing, this is more of it. There's lots of crouch jumping to get anywhere, and all sort of crosshair shooting and alternate fire modes and weapons. So yeah, it really does feel like quite a backstep, especially as this was released after Opposing Force, not beforehand. So, but it is just more of the same. That really sums it up. So if you liked the Half-Life experience and the Opposing Force, this is more of it.
Well, it's about time. We don't pay you people to mosey around at your own convenience. Make this thing work so we can get on with this miserable day.
I thought some scientists were supposed to be noted for their observational skills. So how many elevator repairmen do you know wander around in a suit of body armour and with a hand cannon? None. It would have a toolbox. However, it'll be a very slow game if we don't answer his request. So let's do it. Mosh pit going on here. Everyone's having a little jump around. Good, good. Get up and get down.
It's probably those anomalous materials people again. Always pushing their equipment too hard, dabbling in who knows what. I'd be surprised if there's one good brain among them.
Obviously that being the joke that Gordon Freeman's going to save everyone. Not Barney Calhoun. Who we're playing, so... So is it in an elevator accident? Is it supposed to lay on the floor? Or is it you jump at the last moment? Or is it you just basically pray really, really fast and then die horribly? Well, it's one of the two, I know that much. No shooting through glass in this game. Oh, at least we all got the same training and the same idea to shoot things. Might be time to do that rapidly pray and die bit thing. On the floor, hope for the best. Your PhD didn't prepare you for that, did it? So now finally the game itself is started. And so really, it's not that it's bad. This is, if you like the old school kind of FPS shooters and the Half-Life stuff, it is good. It's playable. And so of course we've got the crowbar. Bad doggy. Oh, hang on, I thought I'd got him. But you'll be fighting the same enemies that you did in Half-Life with pretty much the same weapons in the same sort of locations. I mean, you do get to see more of Black Mesa, I guess. That's something. But it doesn't really add to the a great deal to what's going on in the grand scheme of things. Oh, ammunition. I'll have some of that. Something's obviously we want down here. That's probably opened up our door. That's usually the way it goes in these sort of games. So yeah, it's not that it's bad, it's just I forgot to turn the flashlight off. Whoops. First one there, first one, another one. But it's definitely under the more of the same. Whoa, here you go. So if you liked it, I mean, well, say if you liked it, the other thing is, of course, there'd be very little reason to buy either of these expansions on their own nowadays. So you would be buying this as part of the entire Half-Life pack or the entire Valve Games pack. So I mean, you wouldn't be paying extra for them. So if you was in the mood, if you'd enjoyed the first couple of games, the first expansion and the first actual game.
How did you get through the power lock? Well, it doesn't matter. The only other way out of here is through the canal. If you do make it to the surface, don't tell anyone I'm down here. I think they're trying to kill us all. Now get out of here. The canal is where you want to be.
That doesn't make any sense because the soldiers of opposing force can't actually be here yet as the disaster has literally just happened. Oh, I get it. I know. Let's see. There we go. That's about the length of the puzzle elements. So we'll get around to concluding our dealings here, gang. Half-Life Opposing Force, an excellent addition with quite a bit of extra content. Half-Life Blue Shift, not so. Oh, I didn't mean to backpedal then. I thought I hadn't pressed the button on time. Again, luckily the checkpoints are fairly generously based. Yeah, Half-Life Blue Shift, in many ways a bit of a letdown, to be honest with you. Not a letdown. It's more of the same. It's decent enough if you enjoy older school FPSs, which I clearly do, so I have a good time with it. But after the epicness of Half-Life itself, and after how much content Opposing Force added, it does feel a bit weak. Sit down. Just remember the valve shooting. If you're moving when you're firing, your bullets don't do a lot in the way of accuracy. So anyway, all. Thanks for taking time to watch the video. Hope you found it useful and entertaining in some way. And as ever, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to let me know you're alive. I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.